After coaching many students from different brackets, based on my experience, there are a few things that you need to do correctly to gain MMR as a support. In this video, I will cover the crucial aspects of the support role that will help you climb MMR regardless of the bracket you are in. I have tried to make everything really easy to understand, so it doesn't matter whether you're Herald or Immortal, these concepts will help you improve. One small note, all these aspects look really minor and ignorable, but when you think about them deeply, they heavily impact the outcome of the game, which we will learn in this video. When it comes to drafting your hero, supports have to pick their heroes in the first phase. There is an important thing that you need to keep in mind while picking a hero for yourself. You can do one of the two things, either pick a strong meta hero. This is important because you will have to do a blind pick on the first phase, where you don't know which enemy heroes you're picking your hero into. Or wait for your teammate to pick the first support hero, and based on his pick, you can choose a hero for yourself that works well with him. In short, your spells have some synergy and you can roam around the map together. This one thing of picking a proper hero for yourself makes the game a lot easier. One of the main reasons why you guys go clueless in the mid game is you don't have heroes to play the game how you want to play. Almost every player tells me that in the mid game they want to play around the strongest core, but this will not work if you have lost your lanes and now you don't even have heroes to play together. Some of the strong meta heroes are Disruptor, Bane, Io, Veno, Trent, Undying. Basically any hero that is a strong laner and has a potential of playing around cores in the mid game. Or make aura items like Greaves, Solar Crest, Vlad's, Drums to buff allies. Here is a random game that I found to have a look at how supports are picking their heroes. Radiant has Spirit Breaker and Disruptor, while Dire has Mirana and Warlock. Spirit Breaker can charge and go in, which will provide vision and space for Disruptor to use spells easily without any problem. But when we look at Dire's support combination, their spells don't synergize in any way. It will be really hard for Dire to play the map because there is no setup for Mirana's arrow, which makes the Mirana less impactful, and Mirana Warlock cannot work together to create pressure in the map, which can result in them being clueless throughout the game. The number one thing that will increase your MMR is making sure your core gets as much as possible out of the lane. In lower brackets, winning lane is very simple because most of the players don't even know what to do and all they're thinking about is to get a kill somehow. Before going into the lane, you need to identify which heroes you are going to lane against and which side has advantage. If you don't know how to identify which side is strong, just look at it like this. Look at your hero's damage, it's 47 and your spell cooldown, it's 21 seconds. And when you look at enemy supports, also look at your health. It's 632. Look at enemy hero's health. It's almost similar. He has more damage than you. He has 57 damage, you have 47 damage. Which means in a right click battle, he's gonna win the trade, right? And then his spell has 9-second cooldowns. So if you do a 1v1 with a hero that has more damage and less spell cooldown, who do you think is gonna win? Of course the enemy support, right? So in scenarios like this, you're not gonna take 1v1 trades. Otherwise you're just gonna lose. And this is a divine game, by the way. The reason of telling you guys about the MMR is to give you the idea that even in divine bracket or immortal or even in my games, people don't focus too much on the basics. So if you're the one focusing on basics and you know about these things and when do I have to trade and when do I have to avoid, you will do a lot better in your games because other players are just clueless. And how this Veno should have played the lane, he should have played close to the ogre. So anytime Crystal Maiden came to hit Veno, ogre could have used Ignite on CM, and then with Venomous Scale they would have stomped the CM so hard in the lane. To know how to trade better, you need to understand which side of the lane do I have to play. So right now Rubik is playing on the right side, which allows Disruptor to be free in the lane, play on the left side and harass the Visage. So anytime enemy support is threatening your core, make sure you're playing on the same side as the enemy support so that they cannot pressure the core. Now if Disruptor wants to hit this Visage, Disruptor has to pass by this Rubik. And then Visage and Rubik can 2 versus 1 the Disruptor. Now Disruptor will struggle, so if enemy support is threatening your core, just play on the same side as the enemy support. If that's not the case, then you can play to the opposite. The best practice that you can follow to trade in lane properly is to play around your core and always keep an eye on your positioning. Never go too far away from your core where enemy can 2 versus 1 you. Always stay around your core, and if enemy comes to hit you, hit him back together. Like right now Disruptor came to hit Visage and he got punished. That is only because he was coming to trade alone. Meanwhile Rubik and Visage were playing together. So if you are playing with your core and you're hitting the same target back together, you're always going to win the trade. As the game starts, just go and block the hard camp. It will save you from the trouble of forgetting it or feeding while trying to block later on. Blocking hard camp is extremely important. You can literally lose the lane in 2 minutes if you forget to block the hard camp and enemy manages to pull it. Because this forces you to play around the neutral area where enemy can easily punish you, and enemy team also gets the control of the wave because this wave will go close to their tower. So it will be really hard for you to play the lane because they can easily pressure you. This one pull literally ends this laning stage. How much HP this CM has lost, how much HP this Luna has lost. And if we just look at the CS difference, it's already 9 versus 4. And now this Luna has no HP to play the lane. Meanwhile, this Axe is full HP. He's gonna farm easily. And this one pull causes the entire lane to be over. So this is why blocking hard cam is extremely important, and as a position 4, you have to unblock the hard cam. So you can create this scenario in a laning stage. In just 3 minutes of the laning stage, Luna is already 7 CS and Axe is 21 CS, thrice as Luna. And this was only possible because hardcam was not blocked and Rubik managed to pull it. Similarly, you can unblock the small camp and pull it to your advantage. It will force the enemy to come and play in an awkward spot. Playing around neutral camps open up so many moves for you and your team that you don't even have to try and get a kill in the lane. You can simply play around neutral camps and punish the enemy in terms of experience lead, as you will be denying the creep experience while pulling. Every video takes a lot of effort and I want to keep helping you guys make Dota content. If you're learning something, please make sure to subscribe and like the video as it helps with the YouTube algorithm. Try to get level 2 before the enemy team in the lane. Level 2 is a huge power spike. Think about it. You have 2 spells to use while enemy has only 1. You can achieve this level 2 power spike before the enemy by helping your core in denying the lane creeps and securing the range creep with your spell. It is very important to secure the range creep with your spell because range creep is positioned really far away from your core and it is really close to the enemy team. So it is easier for them to deny it with auto attack, and range creep also gives more experience than the melee creeps. If you are able to get level 2 before the enemy, try to use it to your advantage and pressure them with your spell damage. You might get a kill if the enemy is out of position. Lotus is very important objective in the laning stage which is still being overlooked. Securing Lotus is really important in the lane. Any kind of healing in the lane changes the outcome of the lane. You need to plan at least 20-30 seconds before securing the Lotus. You can either push the lane towards the enemy side so it's easier for you and your core to get the Lotus, or you can start throwing your spells and zoning out the enemy heroes so they are unable to contest the Lotus. It is not worth dying for Lotus, but if you can secure it, it will help you dominate the lane, take better trades and play aggressively. After securing Lotus, you can bring the wave close to your tower by pulling the small camp again. Anytime your hero is dead or your hero is in base, look at your mid laner. Does he have a bottle or not? Yes, if he does, and if it's empty and there's going to be no rune soon, try to TP mid and refill his bottle. Because when you TP, you have this fountain regeneration effect. It stays for some time. If bottle gets passed to you, you can just refill the bottle and you can pass it back to your mid laner. This is really game changing move for your mid laner. This benefits, like mid laner benefits a lot from this. If your mid laner has a bottle, always help him with the power rune on 6 minute, 8 minute, 10 minutes, every 2 minutes basically. Because if this guy on mid laner gets a power rune in his bottle, he can either win mid or gank side lane and help you with that. But if you don't help him with the power rune and let's say enemy mid laner gets the power rune, then enemy mid laner can gank side lanes and destroy your side lanes as well as your mid lane. So power runes are really important. It really helps your mid laner in accelerating his game, and then later on he can help you guys. So it's 6 minutes in. So this Kunkka is level 6. Let's say if Bane and Bounty both are not ganking this Kunkka around the power rune timer, this cop would be dead. Why? Because he would have used X mark, ship, torrent, and this cop would be dead. But because we are helping him on the power rune timer, we end up killing this Kunkka. I could have saved this cop. I am the Bane. I could have saved this cop with Nightmare, but I am noob, so I missed it. But the point is, you have to help your mid laner with power rune if he has a bottle. Otherwise, let's just think of a scenario where we both supports didn't care about this power rune thing. And this Kunkka would have easily killed Coop. He would have taken the top power rune and he would have ganked the anti-mage as well. Entire early game would have been different. But because we're playing on the timers, we're playing for every objective as supports, the game is going in our favor. And this is something what only supports can do. Never be greedy to buy big items and always prioritize healing resources when you need them. This Veno, he wants to buy healing salve because he's low health, but because he gets a good kill on CM, now he has gold to buy boots. He gets greedy and buys boots instead of healing salve. For the time being, it looks nice that, oh, I got my boots of speed. But in the long run, this really limits your place on the map. Like over here, so this Veno didn't get a healing salve and now he ends up getting a kill on Sand King. Because he didn't get a healing salve, he's still low health, right? But if he had a healing salve, he would have full health right now. Because he has low health and it's almost 6 minutes, which is power rune time, he cannot help his mid laner with the power rune, even though it's really important. Pop has a bottle, this is enemy's mid laner, and Ember Spirit, which is Veno's mid laner, also has a bottle. So going for power rune is really important for this Veno, but because he didn't buy a healing salve and went greedy for boots, now this play is limited for him. He cannot do it. And all of this only because he compromised on healing resource. Ember ends up getting the power rune anyways, but if Veno was here, this cop would have been a free kill because this cop doesn't have blink. So if Veno was here, imagine if he bought a healing salve, if he was there for the power rune timer, he would have gotten this free kill on cop. And his game would have been accelerated so much because he would have hit level 5 here, and after taking wisdom runes, this guy would be level 6 by 7 minutes. But because he decided to buy a boot, all of this is not going to be possible. So always prioritize healing resources, guys. You guys don't need big items in the early game on supports, because in the night time, every hero gets plus movement speed anyways. So I don't see a point of getting boots of speed as soon as possible. Always be ready to take or steal wisdom runes as they spawn. Wisdom runes have been around for so long now, and I have noticed in more than 80% of the games, players are not ready to take wisdom rune, which you can take to your advantage and steal the enemy's wisdom rune. If enemy support has a stun and he can steal wisdom from you, in that case just ask for help from your teammates to join and help you with the wisdom rune, because if enemy stole it, it will not only make the game hard for you and the other support in your team, but also help enemy support scale better than you because of level advantage. Start planning to steal Wisdom Rune around 6 minutes. If you're playing a hero that has an ability to stun or throw the enemy away from their position, you should always get ready to steal the Wisdom Rune. Even if you die in return, it is totally worth it, because overall you and the other support get more experience than the gold and experience enemy gets from killing you. It will make the game hard for enemy supports, as they will struggle to get level 6 and barely have any impact. Understanding when you can leave your lane is very important, because if not done correctly, you can ruin the early game not only for yourself but for your teammates as well. There are three scenarios when you can leave your lane. Number 1, you have a strong carry hero that doesn't need your help and can lane alone after some levels. Examples of such heroes are Void, Slark, Sven, etc. In some matchups, these heroes can stay in lane alone and doesn't need help from support. This is something you can do by communicating with your carry. Number 2, the wave is so close to your tower and there is an opportunity for you to use twin gates to gank the other side lane. As a position 5 support, you should always keep an eye on your off lane, and whenever you find enemy carry too far forward in the lane, try to stack pull the small camp and use twin gates to gank the enemy carry, and come back to your lane as soon as possible if your carry needs your help. Number 3, you have completely lost the lane, and if you further stay in lane, you will only feed. In that case, it's much better to lose one lane and help other lanes to win that for your team and force enemy to react to your moves. A lot of the time, the best play as a support is around 5 to 10 minutes, leave the safe lane and go play around the mid and off lane. These cores generally have earlier power spikes than your carry, and you can play on the opposite side of the map to your carry, which means he's happy farming and their carry is miserable with 3 heroes in his lane with his tower being hit. If all of this is done correctly, then your carry will have a good game. Your mid laner will also have a good game because you refilled his bottle, you helped him secure the power runes, and moves will eventually open up to you because you will have your mid laner and other support to play the map with, as they will be having a good game. In case the early game doesn't go as planned and you don't have heroes to play with. In that case, you need to stack neutrals for your core so that they can farm their items faster and become active on the map. Meanwhile, you can place defensive vision for them on the map. Because if your team is behind in terms of lead, an enemy team has a snowballing lineup, they will definitely try to run you down in your own jungle. Let the enemy come into your vision and only take the fight in your vision. This is really important. Never try to take a fight in an area where you don't have vision. Always bait the enemy to fight under your vision. It makes the fight a lot easier to handle. If you want to push any side lane for the tower, make sure there are wards placed in that area. If you want to know more in depth about warding, I have made a guide about it which you can follow to get a better idea of when and where to place the ward. When it comes to team fight, as a support you need to take care of three things. 1. You're not fighting under enemy's vision. Second, you're not dying first as a support, and the best practice to not die first is to think about the possibilities of your hero dying first, and then try to avoid them. For example, in this game, if Bane shows himself in team fight first, Centaur or Chaos Knight will kill him as soon as possible. But if Bane doesn't show himself in team fight and hides in the trees or fog and uses spells throughout the fight, Bane can be really annoying. Number 3. Every spell that you use has a purpose. You need to know why are you using your spell. When you will start thinking about your target priority with your spells, you will start having better game understanding and eventually you will have more impact in team fights. If you're looking to improve your game understanding in any role, I offer private coaching sessions which can help you improve your skills and become a better player. Limited slots have been opened for May. If you're interested, you can join my Discord linked in the description. Please make sure to subscribe and like the video. Do let me know if you have any feedback in the comments.